Okay, if you've watched Season 1 of 13 Reasons Why, we definitely need to talk about that ending. Hello all you lovely beings, Lisa here, and it is time to talk about that ending for Season 1 of Netflix's show, 13 Reasons Why. Now, it kinda goes without saying, but for safety, I'll say it. Spoiler alert! There are spoilers ahead. First of all, to note, the ending for Season 1 of the TV show is definitely different from the book ending. If you recall, the book ends with Clay finishing his tapes, passing them on, and then reaching out to a classmate named Sky, who he also suspects might be depressed and on the same path as Hannah. There was also recently a 10th anniversary of the book released at the end of last year with another ending. It was the original ending that author J. Asher had for the story, in which Hannah actually lives. So if you come to think about it, the story of Clay and Hannah has had 3 endings, and we're going to talk about the third ending. Because the TV show takes place over a few weeks, we were able to get to know all the other characters included on Hannah's tapes and how these tapes have affected them. Sherry's guilt ended up getting the best of her, and we finally see her call the cops and report that she knocked over that stop sign that most likely caused Jeff's accident, which was earlier ruled a drunk driving accident, and we see her break down sitting next to the new stop sign. Throughout the show, all the other kids that are on the tapes, with the exception of Bryce, have been kind of ganging up on Clay in order to prevent him from blabbing about the tapes or doing anything harsh to draw attention to themselves or get them blamed for Hannah's suicide. In episode 12, we see them all meet one last time to kind of form a plan of what to do, and Tyler shows up uninvited, but he suggests that they go after Bryce, who's number 12 on the tapes, and use him kind of as a scapegoat. Now the others quickly shoot down Tyler's plan, saying it's just a cowardly move, and they continue to kind of outcast him, which does not sit well with Tyler, and that has consequences. Clay, who is number 11 on the tapes instead of the original number 9 that's in the books, decides to skip number 12, who is Bryce, and give the tapes straight on to number 13, which is Mr. Porter. He has also included a 14th side in which he has recorded Bryce's confession to raping Hannah. When Clay is meeting with Mr. Porter and kind of explaining to him that, you know, I know what you didn't stop Hannah from doing this, and Mr. Porter's kind of looking confused, like, how do you know all of this? Well, Clay ends up telling him about the tapes, giving him the tapes and saying, you know, listen to these and you'll understand. And there's also a 14th tape, which I hope will help you in making your decision, because there were no instructions left on what's to happen once the last person listens to the tape. It's kind of open-ended. So when it comes to the 14th tape and Clay recording Bryce's confession, some of you watching the show might have thought, oh, this is kind of a heroic thing for Clay to do. However, there have been some that have seen this differently. There are some that have seen these final episodes as Clay's kind of crusade to become a hero and possibly make himself feel better about his role in Hannah's death. If you think about it, how is what he's done by recording Bryce, how is that different from what Tyler was proposing? Alright, back to the ending. We end up seeing Jessica giving her deposition, in which she starts to open up about what's happened to her. And then the lawyers bring up the tapes that were mentioned earlier during Tyler's deposition, and she kind of denies knowing anything about them, which, if this goes to trial, obviously, would end up as perjury, because now people know about the tapes. We also see Jessica kind of break down to her dad and start to tell him everything, which we don't hear what she says in the end, but we're assuming that she is telling him about her sexual assault, and I have a feeling Papa Bear is not going to be too happy about that, and possibly maybe in Season 2 he could pursue charges against Bryce. When we last see Justin, he's at the convenience store with Bryce, who he gets to buy him some vodka for his travels. Now Justin has packed up a bag of what looks like a bunch of money, clothes, a gun, all kinds of things to run away from his mom and his mom's crazy boyfriend. Now in this scene, we end up actually seeing Justin kind of tell Bryce to fuck off. He doesn't believe him anymore, he confronts him about everything, and he walks away. During this confrontation, I'm not gonna lie, I almost thought that Justin was gonna pull out his gun and pull it out on Bryce, because previously in the show, Justin kind of said to Jessica, you know, what do you want me to do about all of this? If you want me to kill Bryce, I'll kill Bryce. But instead, we end up seeing Justin just walk away with kind of a baffled Bryce, but this doesn't necessarily mean that Justin doesn't want vengeance for everything. In episode 12, we saw a young man in an ambulance being rushed to the hospital for a gunshot wound, But it wasn't until the final episode when we learned that that is Alex Standall, according to Principal Bolin. We end up hearing him tell Mr. Porter that Alex Standall is in the hospital in critical condition with a gunshot wound to the head because he tried to kill himself. The last we see of Tyler is quite a doozy. He's packing up a bunch of guns and ammo in the bottom of a trunk for hiding before he goes off to his deposition, where he talks about the bullying he's endured in school, what he saw Hannah go through, and he is the first one to tell the lawyers about Hannah's tapes. We also see Zach, Marcus, Courtney, and other students give their depositions. Now the episode then ends with Clay going up to Sky and asking if she wants to hang out because he realizes he has no idea what she's going through and she could be hurting, as is evident from the cut-up wrists he saw earlier in the show. Now this part actually syncs up with what we see in the book. The two end up skipping class and we see them driving off somewhere with Tony and his boyfriend Brad. Alright, so let's analyze this ending a little bit more. First of all, it's pretty obvious that the show had to change most of the ending due to all these new storylines that were opened up that we don't see in the book. The show was actually never pitched as a miniseries or limited event that I believe, so this means that it could move forward with a season 2, and I feel like that's highly possible with all of the talk and the rave reviews that the show has been getting. So obviously they had to leave things open-ended in case that happened. When it comes to Alex, we are led to believe that he tried to commit suicide. Yes, Principal Bolin is the one who said that out loud, but in episode 12 we see a gunshot victim in an ambulance and the EMT says no mention of suicide, just that we have a victim of a gunshot wound to the head. We do know that Alex has access to guns since his dad is a police officer, and it looks like Alex has definitely been in a growing depression throughout the show. Everyone has been so caught up in the tapes and everything else that's been unraveling that no one has really paid attention to Alex's cries for help. Or maybe so we thought. Now I actually kind of have maybe a crazy theory that Alex is not the one in the ambulance though. But maybe someone else has been shot, or maybe even Alex was shot by someone else. Now hear me out here. If you notice when Tyler is hanging up his pictures in the darkroom, they seem to foreshadow his hit list for a possible school shooting, because why else would he have all these guns and ammo? He's been bullied forever and he just wants it to stop, and it seems like that might be his solution because no one's wanted to help him out or hear his cries. Now if you watched, you noticed that he took down Alex's photo first, then walked away, leaving the rest of the pictures of people like Montgomery, Sherry, Clay, Bryce, and more hanging up. Now here's a few options why I think he took down Alex's photo. Before we see Tyler take the photo of Alex down, we're reminded of when Alex told Montgomery to leave Tyler alone, and although Alex did end up saying to Tyler not to talk to him again, this small kind of act of kindness has resonated with Tyler. And maybe it's made enough of an impact that Tyler has taken him off his hit list, so that's why he took the picture down. It could also mean that maybe we're just seeing the last memory that Tyler has of Alex, and maybe he's taking down Alex's picture because he's already taken care of him. I know that's a pretty morbid one, and it's kind of out there, and definitely less likely since Tyler does have a memory of Alex that's more of a positive one. My last theory on this list is that maybe Alex did try to commit suicide, and we do see that Zach has tried texting Alex over and over being like, hey, are you okay? And Zach finally gets a message that says, please call, and when Zach does, we don't actually get to hear what's on the phone call. But it's possible that maybe that wasn't Alex in the ambulance. I know I could be pushing it, but in the ambulance scene, if you zoom in, you'll see the bandage on the head, and it looks like there is dark brown hair right underneath the bandage, not the bleach blonde hair that Alex is known for having. This is why I think maybe it could be someone else in that ambulance. Could it be maybe Monty and Tyler just hasn't taken his picture down yet because he was distracted by Alex's first? Also, we do know that Justin has a gun too. Okay, so like I said, I know that all of these things are a little less likely than the fact that that is Alex in the ambulance, but it's just kind of fun to theorize about little things. And because I noticed that hair color, and I don't think it's stained hair, because if his bleach blonde hair was stained with blood, it'd be more red than it was dark brown. But like I said, it's just fun to theorize. So the main question is, do you think that it's Alex in that ambulance, and did he try to commit suicide? Now we are also left with the Bakers in possession of Hannah's tapes now that Tony is given to them, and they start to listen to them. They chose to not say anything to the lawyers about having the tapes that we know of, so how will that actually affect the case and the trial moving forward? Will these tapes make them not want to pursue anything? Or maybe they'll not pursue the school and instead pursue Mr. Porter. How will that play out? Speaking of Mr. Porter, we last see him starting his tape before he's interrupted by the principal telling him about Alex. So the question is, will Mr. Porter actually finish his tapes? Will he get to the 14th tape? And what will he decide to do if he does finish them? There are really no instructions given on what's to happen once the final person goes through all the tapes. Which I think Hannah did on purpose as a test for Mr. Porter, especially since he didn't do anything to help her before. The question is, will he now? Also, we do know that pretty much everybody now knows about the tapes. Justin told Bryce about the tapes, Tyler told the lawyers about the tapes in the deposition, and Tony gave a copy of the tapes to Mr. and Mrs. Baker. So in season 2, I feel like they can most likely continue with the aftermath of Hannah's tapes because there's a lot to go off of that. And I feel like that would probably include, you know, how Mr. and Mrs. Baker are going to continue with the trial. Will they go after the school with even more force? Also, will Bryce end up on trial for his sexual assault on Jessica, Hannah, and probably other girls? Will Jessica continue down the downward spiral that she's been on, or is she getting better? Also, what is Justin's path since he walks away with no home, nowhere to really go? He's got some gun and money, and he's definitely upset. He's lost everything that's kind of important to him. How is that going to affect him? The show could also deal with Tyler and if he will carry out what is looking like to be a school shooting. Now, if anything, it could shift focus to that storyline to maybe possibly keep with the reasons why theme, as it looks like Tyler definitely has a hit list of people who all are on it for a certain reason. I feel like this could possibly happen because, unfortunately, school shootings are a very relevant topic, just like bullying. Season 2 could also kind of take the anthology route like American Crime, where every season is kind of a new season that tackles a different issue, this time maybe targeted at teens. So maybe we could get a whole new story and a cast put on another important topic. Or if they do it like American Crime, it could be the same cast playing different characters with a different topic. So those are some ways that I think season 2 could go if that happens, and I'm excited to see that. I have to say I was pretty satisfied with the ending of the show, and it definitely left me wanting more. Now, what did you think of the ending of season 1, and what would you like to see happen in season 2? Do you have any theories about how season 1 left off? What do you think about my theories about Alex? Do you think maybe he wasn't the person in the ambulance? Do you think maybe he did try to kill himself, or maybe he didn't try to kill himself? Now leave me all your comments down below or on social media, and then for even more 13 reasons why, you can check out some of these videos because I think this is a very important show for people to watch. And don't forget to subscribe because I like rambling about pop culture, and if you've already subscribed, high five to you as always. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. And until next time, I'm Lisa. Shine on!